You see what we started? Thank you. My name is Steve Hauser, and I'm an original. And original makes me feel like, for posterity purposes, I should be preserved in a jar of formaldehyde at Smithsonian. I was also the first friar, and I want to tell you how that came about. In the school year 1955-56, Philip Dewey, who had been director of the Glee Club since 1947, took a sabbatical leave. And of course, we had to go out and hire somebody to take Phil's place for a year. And so Phil plus Dr. Short, who was our faculty advisor, plus some other members of the music school faculty, looked around, and we found the perfect person to fill in for Phil while he was away. His name was Walter S. Collins. Wally was a graduate of Yale. He sang in the Yale Glee Club. He was a whiff and poof. He earned a bachelor's in music at Yale, and then he came to Michigan for an education and got and he earned a master's in music. Then he taught private school music for several years and decided that if he were going to pursue a career in academia, he needed a PhD. So he returned to Michigan, and we met him, and he was hired by the Glee Club. He was perfect for the job because he was a known quantity by the faculty and by other members of the staff. He was earning a doctorate here. He had plenty of musical background, conducting groups, et cetera, et cetera. So Wally was hired. I was president of the Glee Club in 1955, 1956. And Jim Short called me and said, "We think we have somebody to replace Phil. Would you come up and meet him?" I was, living at home in Ohio at that time. And so I drove up, and the three of us had dinner, and we hit it off. I hit it off with Wally and vice versa, and we became lifelong friends. He said, "Steve, let's get back together again in a couple of months and just, talk over the coming year for the Glee Club." So I went back, came back to Ann Arbor, 6 weeks, 2 months later, and we went over personnel and some tour possibilities and a little bit of the previous year and, other odds and ends. And he says, "Steve, I've got an idea. I would like to start an octet." Okay. He said, octets, he called it a double quartet. That was too intellectual for me, but I went along with it. I said, "Well, tell me what your thoughts are." And he said, "Well, an octet can do more than a quartet. We can have 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. If somebody's absent, and if you don't have 2 people from the same part absent, why, we can sing anyway. But you can still have a tight sound, and I'll do some arranging, and I've got some stuff, and I'm thinking about some things, and I've even thought of their name, the Friars." And he had dug around into the archives of University of Michigan, and there was a drinking singing society back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he stole that name, and we have become the Friars. So he said, "What do you think of my idea?" And I said, "Sounds good to me." He said, "Well, why don't, since you're president of the club, maybe it would be a good idea, I think it would be a good idea if you became a friar, and that would add a little credibility and gravis to the group. And I thought to myself, gee, a good idea is it's become a great idea. So I was the first friar, and I was the only friar that never had to audition. And the level of the quality of the music has been escalating ever since. So anyway, the Friars obviously have been flourishing. We came back to the 25th reunion in 1980, and I was sitting at dinner with Wally, and I said, Wally, did you ever think that it would come to this? And he said, not in a million years. And he said, you know, it's pretty hard to start a tradition at a university founded in 1817. And here we are celebrating our 50th anniversary, and it just blows my mind. And I love it. Back to the present. There are 5 of us, there are 6 of us still living from the original group. Our first 2 tenors died some years ago. 1 second tenor was unable to make it, so there are 5 of the originals that are here this evening. Well, we're not singable without some help. And the current friars knew that, and bless their hearts, they came to us and said, could we help you out? We'd like to join you. That's the kind of camaraderie there is in being a friar. So, it's the 5 of us with 2 first tenors and a second tenor from the current friars, and we're going to try to do a couple of numbers for you, and this is 50 years of friars on one end and 50 years later on the other end. Gentlemen, if you can hear me.